All right, so don't mind me. I'm just getting over a cold, so if I sound it's because meh. But anyway, this is a topic I kind of been wanting to talk about for a while now, and since it's sort of come up a little bit recently, I figured I'd go ahead and make this video now. So once again, impromptu video by yours truly. So the title of this video of Do I Hate My Artwork? And the short answer is no, but the longer answer is I used to. And I kind of want to dive into some notes that I typed up however many months ago and kind of read over that. So growing up, I actually didn't hate my art. Like when I was really young, I'm talking 10, 15 years ago. Yes, I'm old. I just did art for fun and I never really thought all that much about it. And there were times where I struggled or I didn't like something or whatever. But for the most part, I was like, hey, look, I did this thing and I'm really proud about it and it's really cool and I did that and that's awesome. I was, good games for a while, but soon enough, the internet happened in my life and I discovered a little known website called DeviantArt. And back then, it was quite the big deal. It was quite a big website and it was pretty much where all artists on the internet congregated and met up and interacted. And I was basically artistically raised with DeviantArt. Sounds weird to say I was raised by DeviantArt. Raised with DeviantArt? Raised artistically with DeviantArt. I grew up with DeviantArt. How about that? So basically in my childhood, growing up with this website, I saw a lot of the artists that I looked up to and admired, and they were all very open and honest, I suppose, about their negativity about their art. A lot of the times you would see this amazing artwork posted and then the comments under it is, oh, this is so bad, and oh, this was like such a waste of time. And it was kind of normalized. Like this was my main platform of my main artistic outlet. This was my community, basically. It was just bloated with artists who hated their artwork to an extreme. And I know DeviantArt is pretty famous for a lot of things. One of the things that they're famous for is disliking of references. It's not so much nowadays, but back in the day, it was pretty much bad to look up any reference photos, to do any tracing, although tracing now is still controversial. I don't know why. Liking your art was equated to that. If you were proud of something, if you liked your artwork, people did not like you. You were kind of berated for that, and you were an outcast for that. Oh, you can't have pride in your artwork. Pride is a sin. Like, you have to hate it. You have to actively try to find flaws with your artwork. You have to go out of your way to just destroy your artwork mentally and just be miserable. And that was the attitude on DeviantArt. That was what I grew up with. And that was what a lot of people grew up with. I wrote down in my notes, people tended to write, "This is awful," or "So ugly, don't look at it." It eventually sort of kind of also became a joke too, of like, "This is the worst art ever, LOL," sort of thing. So it was very normalized. It was an attitude you were expected to have, and it was one you couldn't just help but end up having yourself. Because if you surround yourself in that negativity, eventually you're going to be negative yourself. So as a child who loved their artwork and who had a lot of fun with it and had pride in their work, suddenly I was like, oh, this is wrong. I'm not supposed to feel this way. I'm supposed to hate it. So it took me a little bit of time, but eventually it happened. I hated my art. I hated a lot of things about it. I would actively find flaws. I would take compliments from people and be like, thank you, but like, do they really mean it? Or, oh, they're just saying that. I made up excuses in my head about it. It's sad. It's frustrating and it's sad. And it's something that is still kind of prevalent nowadays. And I know there's a plane. But this is normalized behavior. We're told that it's normal to hate your artwork. We're told that it's okay to hate your artwork. And yeah, it's okay, I guess, to hate your artwork. As much as it is okay to kind of feel anything negative toward yourself. I probably wouldn't really word it as okay, but I'm not out here to judge. I just don't like this normalization of self-hatred. And I had this for years, and it made me miserable. I wasn't happy. Like, I would make artwork, but I couldn't feel anything about it. I'd be like, it could have been like one of my best artworks that I'd made at the time. And maybe for a minute, I had that feeling of elation and pride, but it would have to go away because it's wrong. Because I had to hate my art. Because hating your art is normal. And everyone hates their art. Because we're all our own worst self-critics. So basically, everything you do is a failure. And you'll never get there. So this idea of hating your artwork sort of then turns into, so I see artwork out there that I like. So I know that there's artwork out there that I could like. So if I myself reach that level of art skill, then I will no longer hate my art. Now it becomes this goal, this new mindset of, once I reach that goalpost, I won't hate my art anymore. I'll be fine. I will like my stuff. It'll be great. It'll be awesome. And that's just not how psychology works. And it's just another thing that we teach younger artists, that it's okay to hate your art. It's normal to hate your art. And once you reach a certain level, you're not going to hate your art anymore. But I'm telling you right now, all of that is bullshit. And yeah, it's normal to hate your artwork, in so much as like the dictionary definition of normal being like average. On a whole, on average, yeah, probably most people hate the artwork that they create, but I think that's like a whole nother conversation about how we view ourselves, the things we create, art in general. That's just a different conversation. But I don't like that. I don't want to tell a younger artist that they should be hating their artwork, and that, you know, you have this goal and once you reach it. But that's a problem. Because if you are an artist who strives to improve and want to get better, then once you reach that new stage, are you really not gonna keep hating your artwork? Because that's just not how it works. I found that the more I improved with my artwork, I still hated it. I was better. I looked back on my old artwork, and again, maybe like a minute of pride at most. And it just goes back to it. It's not good. It's not there yet. The goalpost, unknowingly, had moved for me. It's not here anymore. Now it's over here. And it's basically like a rainbow. You will never be able to reach it. It's just not possible. Hating your artwork is a mindset. It has absolutely nothing to do with skill. You could be drawing stick figures. I don't care. You could love that artwork. You could be proud of that artwork. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be an absolute beginner, or you could be an amazing professional, like someone who's done this for their entire lives. You're like 80 years old. You've like gone beyond anything. You could still hate it because you can always improve. That goalpost can always move. The point is that there are infinite levels of improvement. Improvement is a never-ending journey. You will never reach that goalpost because that goalpost will always move. Instead, you need to change how you think now. Because I did get myself to a point where I felt so depressed about my artwork and I hated so much of it and I was miserable, and I realized I don't want to feel that way anymore. What am I doing art for if I hate it so much? I want to enjoy it. I want to drink water because I'm sick and my throat's hurting. I want to be happy. So I took some time to myself. I really sat back and kind of looked at what I was doing, why I was doing it. And it's a process. It's not really something I can describe. And if you're really struggling with it, I would recommend seeking some help, maybe professional help, because this shouldn't be normal. This shouldn't be the average of hating your art. This shouldn't be something that we accept of like, oh, this is okay if you hate your art. It's fine. It's not fine. You shouldn't be hating your art. It's okay to dislike something you do and maybe feel it's not your best. But if you're hurting yourself emotionally or physically, then that's not okay. That's not healthy. That's not something we should normalize. What we should normalize is that it's okay to love your art. It's okay to be proud of your art. It's okay to show off your art. That it doesn't matter what skill level you're at. What matters is if you enjoy it and if you're happy about it. Maybe I'm preaching to the choir. Maybe I'm pissing people off. I don't know. This is just something I've been thinking about for a long time. And since I've gotten myself to a point where I feel happy with my art, I'm not happy to a point where I want to stop improving, which would otherwise be fine. But for me, I can still look at a piece of art, know that it could be better, but also not hate it. I can look at a piece and be like, you know what? I did that. Nobody else did it. Maybe it could be better. There's a couple of flaws here and there. But you know what? This is pretty good. You did good, Sam. You did good. And that's the behavior I want us to normalize. And that's the behavior I want us to teach younger generations, especially with social media and how toxic that can be, and how much likes and retweets and follows and all of these things are like part of our self-esteem now. We don't need any more of that garbage. It's okay to love your art. It's okay to be proud of your art. It's okay. All of it is okay. If you're struggling right now, if you're hating your art right now and you don't know how to get out of it, I definitely feel like you should talk to somebody, you should do some self-reflection, really figure stuff out, see if you can work to reach that point. I mean, it's not a night and day thing. Like, you're not gonna go to bed one night, wake up the next morning and be like, oh, I love my art now, it's the best. It's gonna take time, but I think it's worth the effort. I'm a much better place now with my art and just in general, because, you know, hating yourself makes you depressed, so less hatred on yourself helps with that. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now. But yeah, that's it. That's all I want to talk about. So if you guys want to talk about your journey, if you want to talk about your feelings on the topic, if you have some advice for people, feel free to leave all that in the comments down below. If you're liking this painting, I do a lot of watercolor stuff on my Twitch streams, so feel free to follow, link in the description. And I need to go now. Okay, bye!